Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last qhht hypnosis session. But before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. If you could, it really helps me. And do leave me a comment below. I'm always interested in seeing where you guys are at with things, and it could be a comment about anything really. And also, if you feel like just stopping by and say hi, that's perfectly fine. And I love to see that. So that's wonderful if you do that. All right, I'm going to start reading here. When I refer to Carolyn, I'm referring to the hypnotist who's asking me questions I prepared for the 25th in advance. And when I refer to me, I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, which means the responses to the questions are coming from the 25th. All right, Carolyn, in the first session, you said that Archangel Michael is on our side and he does a lot. What are some of the things that he does? He does anything that the essence wants it to do. Our essence wants it to do. What he does is, we already described the role of angels here. They amplify energy. They basically join their energy to yours when you wish for a certain reality to be manifested. And so Archangel Michael is just somebody that we on the side of the light like to call on. And so he does a lot because we call on him a lot. But really, what does he do? He basically helps essences to achieve their purpose, whatever their purpose might be. He has no judgment. And I say he because, again, we're using English. He has no judgment. If it was the dark calling on him, it would be helping the dark achieve their purposes because it's all a game. It's all the same. And so in this case, whatever we want, if we want world peace, he will help us, bring world peace in. Even though, we say this, but really not that many people on this planet have wanted world peace because while they were hoping for world peace, maybe they fight with their spouse. This is part of the work we're going to have to do, which is understand that while we like to think that we are so high-minded at all times, we like to think, but really deep down, I'm really good. And I know this is what we like to think because I know Clea also likes to think that she's good and she's doing good things. The truth is, all of us have things that we ignore that we do, that whether consciously or unconsciously at this level, whether we want to admit that they are bad or not, they are not helping the light. They're not on the side of the light. And we use the same example all the time. Clea banks with regular banks. These regular banks are not good. They are not good. In 3D, they are one of the main creators of evil, what we consider dark and evil. And yet Clea banks with them. This is darkness. She's allaying darkness. And this is something she's going to have to deal with when she sees what these banks have done. Because one thing is knowing or imagining. One thing is knowing. We will see it. We'll know exactly what they have allowed. And once we deal with this, which we don't want to know now, once we deal with this, all of us will be in the same spot. We will all be having to integrate a lot of the stuff we're allowed to happen on this planet. And they have talked before, they've used this example before, as they mentioned the fact that I do bank with regular banks. And many of us already know this. We even know this just from the intel community. This is not a spiritual thing. Banks are the main tools of evil here. They're the ones that are financing the huge corporations. And a lot of these people, the puppet masters that have been pulling the strings here on the side of the dark, they're bank owners, and that's why we have all these institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, etc. They're all no good. And so if we, for whatever reason, stay here past the summer, it is the one thing that I definitely would have moved all my stuff to, like a credit union that's owned by its members, basically. And some of you may already be using them, or some of you might not have this option in other countries, but in the States, this is available. And I really should have done this a long time ago, so I'm aware of that. So I don't mind that they throw me under the bus, that they use me as an example. And the truth is, we are all the same at the end of the day. We're all allowed things on this planet to happen. So I don't mind that they let me know. I am not here trying to hide and pretend that I am different or better than anyone. So it's what it is. I've made my mistakes We might not know at a 3D level, and we might not understand the full extent of what this is allowed, our behavior allows, because we might see one little bit of it. But the truth is, at an essence level, we know, and I know enough at a 3D level that I should have really made the switch before. So it's what it is, it's the truth. Carolyn, what did Archangel Michael do for Claire when she felt that she connected with him? So here, before I start reading the answer from the 25th, so the question was from Carolyn again, I prepared this. And the reason I asked this question, what has Archangel Michael done for me, is because I am never connected with angels. But what happened is that when I finished writing my book, I will never forget, on December 26th, 2019, took me 6 months. I felt this urge, like this thing. It wasn't even a desire. It was simply like, I felt this, have to do this duty to finish my book by the end of that year, which now in hindsight, I understand why. And the day that I finished, I pulled tarot cards, and I got the Archangel Michael card, which was like, it was the first time I pulled it. And I was shocked. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it kind of made me pause. And so this is the answer. And this is why I'm leaving this in here, because I think it's really cool. Me, it was like a signpost in that sense. He basically told her, gave her the idea, because she still wanted to ignore her connection. She was still questioning whether her powers were back. They never really left. And so he showed up because she had been following somebody who believes in angels, who very much connects to angels. And so he showed up. Basically, she was ready to receive the sign of Archangel Michael. And she felt it. She felt like, oh, look, there's somebody out there who, he's out there, and therefore I'm on the right track. And she was on the right track. That's why we sent that. Well, she sent to herself that sign. And that's what we meant by signpost. It was a signal that she was on the right track, doing the right thing. So even though sometimes it might be things that you don't expect, this is what this message is meant to clarify, that as long as it catches your attention, it's, again, we send ourselves clues. This did not come from the outside. It might be your essence wanting you to notice something. And so for me, it felt like a sense of accomplishment, like, oh, look, this wasn't just for me. There was actually a higher meaning to this, which I always felt there was. But getting that card the day that I finished it was confirmation for me. I'm like, this must have been good. This must have a purpose that's greater than just me, venting on paper. Carolyn. She thinks he wanted her to write her first book, but then nothing much happened with that. Why was she asked to write it? And what did Michael have to do with this? This is what they're referring to. Because again, if you don't have the question clear, obviously the answer will not make sense. The idea was that Archangel Michael wanted me to write that book. And I had gotten that idea because, again, the person I was following, that's what she was telling me, that, there is, you are being wanting. And I was getting that message that I had been asked to write that book. Okay. I don't connect to angels. I'm always suspicious when people talk about Archangel Michael, like it just seems like an easy person or an easy character to go to. So I wasn't necessarily connecting to that. But then of course, everything pans out the way it's supposed to. And so here, what it meant is nothing much happened with that. Is that I had the idea, I was actually told by somebody that there was going to be a movie made out of the book, and that many things, it was going to become like a really known book. Now, this was important to me because I wrote that book basically amidst tears. I did not want to write that book. I did not write it for me. It wasn't for me to, I joke about this, I was venting on paper, but the truth is I wasn't, people have asked me, was that cathartic? No, it wasn't cathartic. I'm the kind of person, I've always been the kind of person, I don't want to think of the past. So once something has happened, I put it away, done. I don't even, it's a waste of my time to even think about it. But clearly there was a different process here in mind. And they have told me, for example, obviously because of this timeline, that the movie would no longer happen. It was supposed to happen, it wouldn't happen. So my question here is, Okay, so what's going on? How do we set these things up for ourselves, basically? What happened with that? Me. She had to, so again, Archangel Michael didn't really do anything with that. It was a signal for her that she recognized, where she knew that she was doing what her essence wanted her to do, that she was in the flow. She realized that she was in the flow because of Archangel Michael. But the reason her essence wanted her to write that book was she thinks, oh, nothing much happened. Everything happened. It was a landmark moment. It was a watershed moment. What happened is that she did what she had always been postponing. She had been postponing writing for 40 years. She started switching her focus. She was doing the work that normally she would have put behind her. She always says how she doesn't like to think about the past. All of a sudden, she was doing the work. So everything has happened because of that book. It was never about selling millions of copies, not only, but if she's referring to the fact that not that many people know about it or have bought it, even though several hundred people have bought it now, you don't have, when we put out a message, it doesn't have to be transcribed. It doesn't have to be put on YouTube. Once a message is out, it belongs to the multiverse. The multiverse picks it up. So she's looking at things from a 3D perspective, but nothing is 3D. Nothing is strictly 3D. So many things have happened because of that book, even beyond just her own personal life. Carolyn, amazing. Did Gaia know what she was in for, when she chose to incarnate as our planet? Or did the dark affect her too by unbalancing the game? What is her soul's history? Me. Gaia came in to have fun like the rest of us. And in the beginning, this was really, really fun. And Gaia loved the way that she looked. And she's our teammate. So we're always, cooperating and thinking, how can we do this? How can we make it even more fun? So she was having a blast. And of course, as things started getting darker, obviously she, it's just like the rest of us. We are just not as happy if we're going through a period of time that is stressful to us, or we're worried about something. Gaia is just like a person. She has the same feelings that we have. She does the same work that we have. Of course, she's extremely powerful. So her history is that she's always been a planet. She's always wanted to be a planet. This is what she wants to do. She came out of the 25th and she said, I want to be in the matrix as a planet. Just like some of us came out of the 25th saying, I just want to be a tree for the next 1,000 incarnations. We're all the same. We're all just having different experiences. So she was, she's also had a hard time, just like we've had a hard time with what's happened. Gaia is not a victim. So it's not that these things have happened to her, no more than the things that happened to us. Oh, my husband cheated on me, poor me. It's not like that, right? We create our own reality. So Gaia has also just simply had an experience. And so now, just like the rest of us, she's a bit bored of this one. And she's like, I can't wait to have a more fun experience where I get to do whatever I want. For example, on this planet, she's also got a lot of limitations. She can't be making trees look a different color every day, can she? People would freak out. But on New Earth, that's probably what she's going to do. Who knows? We might wake up and the trees are like shining every night and a different color, like it's Christmas. Who knows? Whatever she wants to do is what she's going to do. And that's what it is. She's just like us. We think of Gaia as a different type of entity from us. It isn't. There is no difference from us. Animals are not different from us. Planets are not different from us. It's all us. It's just us all the time. This made me think of, if you ever seen a child play, it's how it's all children, obviously, and each child is playing a different thing. Some may be playing, humans, the adults, or the characters in the story, and some may be dressed up looking like a tree or looking like the sun, but it's all children at the end of the day. And this is what this made me think of, that we take on these costumes, these appearances, but all of a sudden here at this level, we forget that it's almost like you start believing that, your friend from school that's playing the tree, now all of a sudden it is a tree. It's like, what happened to Bobby? Now he's a tree. And this is how we act here. Carolyn, What kind of diseases do they have on alien planets, and what treatments do they use? Me, chuckling. They were chuckling. So they're pretty funny aliens, because I mean, we all have a great sense of humor in this matrix. So they have a higher level of awareness. So they believe that they know how things work. For example, they don't eat lower vibrational foods like us. Again, because they don't need to. They don't need to keep their reality as in low vibration as we do, which is one of the reasons we ingest these codes, what we consider food. They don't need animals. They don't eat each other, basically. So, and again, it has to do with their level of awareness, but also with the fact that they don't have to keep a certain vibration. They don't have to keep a certain vibration. And so they like to think, because in this case, I mean, you can see the pride. I mean, we do this, again, we like to think we're better than other people. So a lot of aliens, when they consider us, they do think they're better because they figured out stuff, okay? Just like you're proud of yourself when you figure out something and you look at somebody else who doesn't know and you're like, oh, they know nothing and I know everything. This is normal. There is no judgment here. In fact, we say it smiling because it's funny that we do this. Again, it's the game of separation. So to answer your question, what they do is they don't allow themselves to have diseases because they want to believe that because of their understanding, their level of awareness, they know how to overcome them very quickly. That it's like the law of manifestation, they're masters of it. They know that if there is an imbalance, it means it's an energetic thing. So when we say they don't allow themselves diseases, they don't allow themselves chronic diseases like we have. So what they've done though, because they don't want to know that it's them, they want to believe in the game. They don't fully want to know that they can, with their minds, change, or with their choices, change reality. Then they pretend that they go to a med bed or an energetic shower that moves away this imbalance that we would consider, you know, I'm feeling nauseous, I'm feeling bad, I have a stomach ache, whatever it is. So they don't have diseases like long-term diseases like cancer, that kind of thing, like we do. Because again, they would rebalance it very quickly. But they do rebalance through technology. They like to think that they have created things to where now, if they were paying more attention, and to some degree they do know that, they're realizing they need to use the technology because they have the thought, right? So they know it's like, oh, this is negative energy, so this is what I could do. So they know enough. We all play this game. We know just enough to spark them the next step, which is to pretend that we're getting a solution from somewhere else out there. They're doing the same thing. So they don't have the same diseases as us. Doesn't mean they never, ever feel bad or low. They're humans, okay? They're not robots. They have emotions like we do. And they're not all love and light either. There is darkness in the multiverse. We already described this, even on the Pleiades. Everybody's enamored with the Pleiades. There's darkness on the Pleiades. Everybody has the same feelings as we do. When we think of higher consciousness, which is really higher awareness, all it is that they are more aware of the fact that certain things are really a no-no, okay? We don't kill, we don't, again, they don't even have that vibration, right? And then they can do things, again, and that they can do things. Again, they think they have to do it externally. They can do things to keep the vibration high. So for example, they don't have inebriating things, like we do, or codes that are very low vibration, like certain drugs, for example, on this planet. They don't have that. So that's what allows them to be in higher awareness, in higher vibration. But then again, they are humans like us, so they have drama like we do. Carolyn, amazing. Do they have books in other dimensions, and does writing matter anywhere else? Me. Yes, they do have books, and writing does matter because, again, it's just a code and some people like to read. And the next question is about me, and it's, will Clea write again in her present incarnation? And I left it because it's interesting what they answer. Me, she will record a lot of her thoughts and memories, not necessarily in the way that she has done it here, pen in hand or typing on a computer, because it doesn't work like that. She'll probably just have it come out of her mind, like she doesn't know yet. But yes, she will absolutely. The main question here is, will she keep on spreading information? Yes, she will, however that needs to look. So I left this in here because in case some of you like to write or, you know, do any kind of thing like this, even if you're a journalist or whatever you might be, it doesn't mean that this is going away. I mean, if you're somebody who likes, who's interested in certain things, you'll continue doing them. Basically, they will just take a different form, which I thought was cool. Okay, Carolyn, and is it still important to do so? Me. It's important to do so because while we'll have this knowledge on New Earth, even on New Earth, we'll have different degrees of acceptance for things. So we'll still need to connect to each other and calibrate. And this was funny to me that they said this because, sorry, my eye's itching because there are so many allergens out here in Missouri. It's terrible for me. But so it was funny they said this because a lot of us think, okay, once we go to New Earth, finally we don't have to deal with these things anymore. But yeah, we might still have resistance to a lot of these concepts, even when there is no veil and we see them and we're clearly on New Earth. We know we're spiritual and infinite and powerful, and we're still going to have these experiences of resistance. It's just fabulous. Carolyn. So there will be a way to tap into that knowledge, such as writing, like here on Earth. Me. Yes, because other planets will not be able to feel us like we do. And so the knowledge will still be put out there. And it could be put out as, and we're joking here, like you have some kind of megaphone and the whole multiverse hears you. But really, that's all we're doing. We can intend our messages to be carried, and we are always being listened to. Clea has already done this. We have told her that there are people watching her and listening to these messages that are not from this planet. We told her there are aliens listening, that the multiverse is listening. So she actually is playing with this because she's put out messages for them and they hear it. She doesn't need to write it down. She doesn't even need to make a video about it. She can just intend it. She can just think it. And this message will be spread because, once again, we all feel each other. We all are each other. So I thought I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it was fun in many ways. And thank you, as always, for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.